used to. Oh, we are paying, but then later you see another budget and say we owe Gilbert, we owe this person. What has happened? Like what is happening in the construction space, where contractors are owed, where we have certain earmark funds to settle all those commitments. How has that fared? And also I was nodding my head that look, accountability is the hallmark of measuring efficiency and effectiveness.
Right.
If you don't have such a system in place, then I think we'll be joking as a country.
Prof, you want to take a bite on this, the one Ghana cedi levy?
Yeah, I mean, that levy just came out of the blue.
It did. Prof, we've had energy sector challenges with us for years.
I understand, but you know, so think about it. The government had read a budget only less than 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And as Kofi pointed out, I think it's paragraph 264, made it clear that we are not going to increase the levy. And then, you know, out of the blue, this has come up. So you get the sense that there's probably some effect of the currency appreciation. And so the government will look at the...
Take part of the windfalls.
Or its revenue streams. And don't forget that definitely one revenue line that will be affected by the currency appreciation will be ports, the trade taxes. Mm. So because the levies and charges are initially in USD and then converted to cedis and you pay. So the USD amount will be the same, but the cedi amount will be lower. So the government will probably notice that there's some shortfall coming from there, because and then decide that okay, we need to find means to make up. Because it's strange. It was very strange to me that it doesn't appear that there's been any much consideration or much discussion, and suddenly it came up. So I think it doesn't. You know, your opinion pool might say people are generally supportive of it, but it doesn't, the way it came, it doesn't seem like something that we had planned carefully for. Mm. And I think when you have promised that you remove taxes, and then you have gone ahead to remove almost all of them, and then suddenly you throw one new levy in, I think it doesn't. But like he said, you know, at the moment the government has a lot of goodwill. Mm. So I think Ghanaians are taking them in their strides and moving on. So perhaps this would have been the best time to throw in such a tax without facing the level of the resistance that I could have faced.
I think there's something we need to talk about. I mean, we all follow Bloomberg and what happens in the US a lot. When a time is scheduled that a statement will be made for the entire nation, people follow.
Of course.
I know the advertised time was 10 a.m. As we speak now, it is almost 2 p.m. And we don't know when the budgets will be read. But the Ministry of Finance had advertised that the budget was going to be read at 10 a.m. And that even Parliament yesterday, when they said they were going to reconvene at 12 p.m., almost 2 hours. And this happens almost all the time. Nobody speaks about it.
Yes, but nobody is held accountable. And that's the accountability I'm talking about.
Almost 2 p.m. The advertised time was 10 a.m.
And to take that, the Deputy Finance Minister said that the Minister himself was at Parliament and that he was just going to walk into the chamber a few minutes and then we're going to hear him read out the budget or give us a review of the budget that he read in March. But on your screen now is the live footage of what's happening currently in Parliament. At the moment, I'm unable to tell where is the minority and where is the majority. At the moment as well, I'm unable to tell whether indeed the minority is going to stage that walkout or not. But, well, now you can see clearly that it's as if they had Kofi. It's as if Parliament had Kofi vent, and you clearly can see that they're taking their seat. And the minority seem to be wearing black. Whatever they're mourning, we'll get to know later. And then you can see where the bright colors, white, you see a bit of blue as well, just a tad of black as well at the majority side. But it looks as though
The marshal
the marshal also just, yeah.
The maize has been placed, and we might see the speaker very soon.
There he is.
Yeah. 2 p.m.
Wow. Actually, Kofi, you just brought my mind to that. 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. The proceedings will just start shortly. And then we'll get to, all of us will know our smoothness level with the budget shortly. All right? Whilst we get ready to listen, Kofi, run us quickly through the 2025 allocations to key policy initiatives.
Yeah. Whilst the speaker is preparing to start, the finance minister definitely will be scratching his head about some of these promises he made. If you look at some of the commitments and new initiative, 51.3 million Ghana cedis for the Women's Development Bank, Assembly members 100 million for the allowances, capitation grant 145.5 million Ghana cedis, Akosombo Dam spillage, the victims are supposed to enjoy 243 million Ghana cedis. That is what has been budgeted so far. Free sanitary pad initiative, more than 292 million Ghana cedis. Free level 100, the no stress fee, almost 500 million Ghana cedis budgeted for that. And the free SHS. Government says this budget is unprecedented. The first time we are having the budget actually crossing 3 billion, 3.5 billion Ghana cedis for free SHS program. And NHIS, which they say they will actually uncap, is around 9.9 billion Ghana cedis. So, it will be interesting to see how government will find money to actually fund some of these initiatives. But definitely we have more. And if you look at the National Apprenticeship Program, 300 million Ghana cedis is expected to actually go to the National Apprenticeship Program. We understand George Yafe is on and is speaking live.
And then moving forward to the end of the year, how they intend to make things better than what it is now. Yeah.
And one would say that in terms of, I know that you've been in this space, you have a better appreciation. How would you describe the first half of this year, perspective as a member of parliament and somebody who has worked in this area?
Okay, I would say that, for the first half of the year, let me start with the first quarter. There were policies that we implemented, or measures that we put in place in the whole of 2024 that saw it bear some fruits in the first quarter of 2025, and that saw our inflation numbers coming down. And as you know, we did the last IMF review, and it was successful, and so that chunk, the third tranche of that money also came in the first quarter of 2025. So then we saw some boost in our forex. We also saw the inflation numbers coming down, and we saw the tightening of things really easing. And March 2025, government came to scrap the e-levy, but not too long after that, government brought in something that was substantially higher, way higher than the e-levy, which is the Doomsor levy. And so today, what we expect to see is how the revenue numbers have fared, given all the measures that they put in place in March. Also, we want to see how they have utilized the expenditures. But clearly, one thing runs through, from the questions the ministers come to answer consistently, especially the road minister, there is lack of funds to pay contractors. So yes, government is doing well on the payment of salaries. Government is constantly paying salaries. But as to some of the activities that will turn around the economy, we don't see government in that space. That has to do with contractor payments, especially with roads. Also, we have also noticed that infrastructure projects across the constituency have all come to a halt because they are not paying contractors. So what we want to see is how government, moving forward, is going to make those payments to turn around, to bring in more economic activities around. And one other thing that is of major interest to our people, and especially traders, has to do with acquisition of forex. By dint of what we put in place, I mean, the gold for oil and all the other measures that we put in place, coupled with what they have come to do in the last 3 months. They said, yeah, we all saw some strengthening of the cedi against our foreign currencies. But now they are asking for Forex to go and get some goods because it's almost Christmas. You know, usually with these traders, July, August, September, that's when they buy Forex to go and bring in goods for Christmas. And they are asking for Forex and they can't find Forex. So we are hoping that in this mid-year review, government is going to tell us how they are going to make these monies, these Forex available to traders to be able to bring in the Christmas goods. And finally, the issues with aviation fuel. This morning, I know someone who was supposed to travel to Kumasi, but the flight was cancelled because of lack of aviation fuel. Quickly, we expect government to tell us the way forward on this. Otherwise, it will disrupt a lot of economic activities that will also affect the economy. So we are looking forward to how the numbers are fed, the expenditure. They should tell us exactly what they are using all the revenues they are raising for, and moving forward, how they are going to address the issue of contractor payments and other infrastructure.
Well, you talked about the Q1 and what you did and how things are stabilizing. Let's talk about the IMF program. There were reports, or even from the fund reports, saw that things got off track a little bit in the last quarter of 2024. What happened, Honorable?
I don't think so. If you would check the review that came in, we met almost all the structural benchmarks, with the exception of the energy space, the energy sector. And as we speak, it's out there that out of the 11 structural benchmarks, it's only 3 that this government has been able to meet. So clearly, if we hadn't met that requisite or that threshold, there was no way that tranche of money would have come in the first quarter of 2025. So clearly, we did what we were supposed to do. And so if out of 11 structural benchmarks, you are able to, meet the target for 10, I believe, and in an election year, when you compare this to 2016, an election year, all the targets were derailed, and then we had to come and renegotiate a new IMF program. But that has not been the case for this government. They are continuing with the IMF program that we negotiated way back, and I believe that they ought to build on that good faith that we had with the IMF and make sure they see this program to the end, because that is also important for our credibility.
Well, let me get your thoughts on a very critical thing which you had to go. You wrote a piece on Facebook, the debt stock being overstated.
It's increasingly. Wait. Wait, I want them to be quiet before. Electoral violence, Mr. Speaker, is increasingly rearing its ugly head in our fledgling democracy. Mr. Speaker, the recently rerun 19 polling stations at Ablekumanov is truly revealing.
Honorable Minority,
Speaker,
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, just a minute. Honorable members, the Minority Chief Whip is raising a very serious matter: election violence. I think it's a matter that we should take note of and devote a day to dilate on it. And at the end of the day, take a position, because we need everybody to be on board. It takes away a lot of the shine of our democracy in this country. And so what he's talking about is a serious matter. It's not something for us to just gloss over. But I want to plead with him, because I didn't know the statement was on this subject matter. Because I myself have noted it, and my intention is for us to devote a day and enough time to take this matter through. It worries all of us, particularly to take this matter through. It worries all of us, particularly you, the players must be more worried than any other person, because the violence will be meted up to no other persons apart from you, the players. So it's something that we should take some time, and I want to urge the Minority Chief Whip to let us stop today, because we don't have time to do that. And our nation, in spite of what we're talking about today, are focused on hearing what the minister is going to tell us about the media review. Then we'll get enough time to handle your matter. Thank you so much.
Speaker, with respect, I will not on any day defy your authority. But Speaker, we have lined up a number of activities to back home our demands. And to the extent that these violence visited are not atoned, we cannot be part of the presentation of the media budget. And to that extent, Speaker, to that extent, we are exiting the parliament and cannot be part of this process.
Yes. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This side of the House definitely agrees that electoral violence is not something that any of us should countenance. We do agree that as a country, we should be committed to ostracizing any form of electoral violence. We agree with them. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, yesterday I attended the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress on behalf of this side of the House. And the issue of electoral violence was discussed. And I attended a meeting of the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress, and there was a clear commitment by the National Executive Committee to take steps to deal decisively with the issue
Honourable
of...
Majority Leader, once I did not permit the statement to be made, I don't think it's proper for you to make comments on it. So what you've done is sufficient. Let's move on to business and do what is proper for today.
Yeah.
As I said, we'll have another day to discuss this matter.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I agree with you. Just one last
No,
sentence.
but it will not be fair that after I've stopped you,
Yes.
I allow you to make comments on it.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we couldn't stop them from walking out.
No.
We couldn't stop them from walking out.
Well,
and the whole nation has seen them walk
whether
out.
it's fortunate or unfortunate, that's a different thing altogether. Let's go on with today's business.
That is so, Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Except that I will land.
There's no except. There's no except.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. So we will take item number 3 on the addendum order paper.
Yes, honourable members, before we do that, let me just acknowledge the presence of our August visitors from a number of our schools and other institutions. We have over 32 students from the Boma Senior High School, led by the headmaster of the school in the person of George Ampofo. The school is located in the Tano North constituency. Yes, they are up there to my right side at the public gallery. Please, you are welcome. And what just happened is what we call a walkout. It's part of the practice of democracies all over the world. When sometimes you disagree strongly with an issue, you walk out. After they finish with that item, you walk in and continue. When you boycott, you just don't attend at all. Then that one would be a boycott. But this one, they were present and they did a walkout. It doesn't prevent business from going on. Once you have the quorum to transact business, you have to go on. If you have the numbers to take a decision, you proceed with that. Okay? So please, you are warmly welcome. And even though you have been welcome with your MP welcomed you, so please, you may resume your seat. It's an experience. I'm sure you never forget of it. Yes, we have 41 students also from Sewa Kese Girls Senior High School, also from Tano North. They are led by the head mistress of the school, in the person of Margaret Anane Ajay. They are also to my right, you know, and one common thing about them, they are beautifully attired. You know, both institutions, they are well dressed. I hope you get time, even though he walked out, to take a picture with him. Please, you are welcome. You may resume your seats. We have students from the University Practice Senior High School, led by the teacher, Mr. Andrews Amo Smith. The school is located at the Cape Coast North constituency, and there are 36 of them are here. You are warmly welcome. Kindly resume your seat. You are lucky your MP didn't walk out. We have also from the Jamase Pentecost Child Development Center. They are 55 in number, and they are led by the director of the center in the person of Magdalene.
What this will entail, and so pretty shortly we'll get some more understanding of what exactly the minority's position on this will be. The bus is just about to move, so we will be in this vehicle for now, and then we will get to speak to more and more people as to what exactly their actions are going to be on this. The minority say they cannot be part of the budget, the media budget review presentation, because ultimately they have real concerns about electoral violence and they do not understand what exactly is going to go on. So you see the first bus with members of parliament moving. I said, you can, we are live. I said, oh. Their way to the diplomatic community first. We do not understand if they have a prior agreement as to what exactly they are going to do in that. And so you see land cruisers moving, and then we are in tow to get an understanding. This was coming because prior to today, and in fact on Monday specifically, the minority had specifically written to the presidency asking for the confirmation for them to be able to present a petition to them. And yesterday I did get some indication on that. In fact, I spoke to some very high-ranking persons in the minority leadership who confirmed to me, and so we have been reporting that all morning on Joy News and all afternoon also, that the minority were not going to be part of this proceeding. So what they did first was to attempt to make a statement. The chief whip, he did in fact start by talking about electoral violence, and the speaker cut him in his tracks, stopped him from going ahead with the proceeding and making any statement on that. The speaker says, while it's a very important matter, they would have to devote a special day to do so, and they are not going to do this now. And they decided then that if they are not going to make the statement, they are going to walk out. And in fact, even if they were allowed to make that statement, we do understand that their plan was to walk out. And so Frank Anodompre leading the side on this. I haven't seen the minority leader around. His books and other things were all made available at his desk, but he hasn't been around. He's currently not in the convoy as we move 2 buses full of members of parliament and a number of land cruisers in tow, making their way first to the diplomatic community, the dean of the diplomatic corps, and that is their first stop before they will meet the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, and then ultimately they will also have a meeting and then finally go to the presidency. What is not clear is if the president will receive them and receive a petition, but Habib Idrisu told me in an interview just a while ago that they have confirmation from the presidency that the chief of staff himself, Julius Deborah, will be out to receive their petition when they are ready. We will get to see if that is going to happen. And so what you see on the screen now is a convoy, a procession of land cruisers and buses moving from Parliament. The minority boycotting proceedings in the House. They boycotted the media budget statement that Dr. Castle Atoforsen is going to present. You see how screen the Speaker of Parliament proceeding anyway with proceedings. Any moment from now, the Finance Minister, Dr. Castle Atoforsen, will be at the podium, the dispatch box, to deliver the media budget statement. It's a statement, it's not coming by a motion, you've seen the other paper, and so it's not going to be a motion. It will be commented on after that, but the minority are not going to be part of this. They are talking about the electoral violence that have plagued certain parts of certain elections, particularly the Ablekuma North by-election. Well, it's not really a by-election, it's a rerun that just concluded about 2 weeks ago. The Member of Parliament has taken her seat in the person of Irabna Obin. She's taking a seat. She was sworn in 2 days ago. You will recall that on that day also the minority walked out of proceedings because they said that there were certain things that had happened at the by-election, for which reason they wanted to make an urgent statement on the matter. The Speaker, again on that matter, blocked them and they walked out of that proceedings as well. And so they are making their way right from Parliament to the diplomatic corps. They have an arrangement with the Dean of the diplomatic corps to receive them speak to them and receive a petition also from them. They say that there is growing violence with regards to election in the country, which is something that they do not think is the best going into such a very crucial part of Ghana's democracy. They say the NDC are weaponizing Ghana's democracy because they want to achieve certain political ends. And so you see us, we've just gone past the British High Commission, and the expectation will be that at least representation from the British High Commission will be in this meeting where the diplomatic corps, the Dean, and his members are going to receive the minority caucus. All of them, in fact, every single one of them who was present in Parliament today.
Honourable Speaker, I'm back to the House today with deep sense of duty and optimism to present the mid-year fiscal policy review of the 2025 budget statement and economic policy of government on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, this presentation is in line with Section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully request the entire mid-year fiscal policy review to be captured in the Hansard while I present the highlight. Mr. Speaker, this review is more than a fiscal update. It is an account of what we inherited and the positive results of our stewardship in the last 198 days. Mr. Speaker, following his re-election with an overwhelming mandate, President John Mahama inherited an economy in deep distress, far worse than what we had imagined. The economy was marked by large imbalance with huge MDA arrests, massive debt, weakened institutions, and heightened public anxiety. Since 2023, the debt in the cocoa and energy sector had in particular posed significant fiscal risk to the Ghanaian economy. The Ghanaian private sector and the business community looked was broken, and the foundation of our economy had sunk even deeper. Mr. Speaker, the budget deficit had ballooned because of reckless commitment and wasteful spending. The indebtedness of the government had culminated into state insolvency. The impaired balance sheet paralyzed almost every single state enterprise. High cost of living and inflation impoverished large segments of the population, eroding the real value of their income and savings. Right Honourable Speaker, the mismanagement of our public finances by the previous administration led to a devastating haircut through the DDEP, which denied pensioners and middle class their lifetime savings, their livelihood, and in fact, their dignity. Mr. Speaker, Eurobond holders also suffered painful haircuts, severely affecting Ghanaian businesses and financial institutions. Soaring interest rates crowded out essential spending on education, health, and infrastructure. Right Honourable Speaker, the Ghana cedi depreciated against all major currencies to levels never seen before, making it the worst performing currency in the world. Public sector corruption reached an all-time peak. As President Mahama said, the whole of Ghana was indeed a crime scene. Mr. Speaker, investor confidence waned considerably, significantly reducing investment inflows. The public debt reached unsustainable levels. The unemployment situation worsened, which made it difficult for Ghanaians to find decent jobs. Many micro, small, and medium enterprises collapsed under the weight of economic mismanagement. Right Honourable Speaker, to compound all this, the country suffered credit rating downgrades by all three major credit rating agencies, placing Ghana firmly in default or junk territory, never seen in the history of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, to further illustrate the enormity of this economic burden, we inherited an IMF program which had derailed and completely gone off track, with key targets missed, putting our economic recovery program in jeopardy. In the words of the Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, Mr. Boli, the program had deviated substantially from its target by close of 2024, unquote. Mr. Speaker, we also inherited weak commitment control systems and irresponsible spending, which left arrests of over 67 billion and contract commitment of about 194 billion Ghana cedis. Right, Honorable Speaker, we inherited a bleeding energy sector with annual financing shortfall in excess of $1.5 billion US. We inherited a debt-riddled cocoa sector with liabilities of 32 billion Ghana cedis, a weak financial sector with significant non-performing loans despite pumping over 30 billion Ghana cedis into the so-called financial sector cleanup. Right, Honorable Speaker, steep debt repayment humps were also inherited, where at the time, Mr. Speaker, we inherited repayment humps of 20 billion for the year 2026, 50.3 billion for the year 2027, and 45.8 billion for the year 2028, as well as significant short-term treasury bills maturities of about 137 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we inherited depleted buffers needed to cushion the country from any fiscal or external shocks with empty sinking fund. And Mr. Speaker, we inherited stored projects, about 55 of them tied to bilateral debt restructuring, with about $3 billion US in undisbursed loans. Mr. Speaker, the root of our 2022 economic crisis can be traced directly to an overbearing fiscal dominance, marked by reckless spending and corruption, compounded by poor leadership of the previous NPP administration. Mr. Speaker, the worsened fiscal situation spilled over into the monetary and external sector, causing a rapid depreciation of the Ghana cedis. The monetary financing by the central bank reached an all-time high, driving inflation to levels never seen in decades. Mr. Speaker, there was a complete lack of coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, signaling the highest level of incompetence in the management of our economy. Mr. Speaker, in the face of all this dire inheritance bequeathed by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration, the government of President John Dramani Mahama made a conscious decision not to make excuses, but to reset our country. We chose the path of structural reforms and transformation. We set out to reset our economy, restore good governance, and policy credibility. We renewed our social contract with the Ghanaian people and redefined national priorities by being deliberate in both our policy choices and approach to economic management. At the very onset, we organized the National Economic Dialogue and the National Education Forum. Mr. Speaker, we held direct engagement with key groups and stakeholders, including market women, trade unions, youth organizations, and traditional leaders. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that clear policy measures were outlined in the 2025 budget presented to this House in March this year. In our new economic model, Mr. Speaker, we tightened fiscal discipline without compromising social spending. Right, Honorable Speaker, the recent IMF Executive Board affirmed this new economic management model, noting that faced with large policy slippage and reform delays at end 2024, the new NDC administration had taken bold corrective actions to maintain the program on track. Right, Honorable Speaker, the IMF further noted that these corrective actions, combined with continuous structural reforms and an improved external sector, are expected to result in economic stability, resilience, and inclusive growth. Mr. Speaker, we streamlined and increased investment in education, health, agriculture, and infrastructure, as well as employment. In fulfillment of our major manifesto pledge, we established the Ghana Gold Board through Act 1140 to accumulate foreign exchange to support the stability of the Ghana cedi. We have restored coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana to ensure a cohesive and integrated approach to economic policy making across relevant institutions. Mr. Speaker, in less than 200 days, we have brought back clarity, certainty, stability, and purpose to our economic policy direction. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have made significant progress. The signs of recovery are obvious, evident, noticeable, visible, tangible, and they are being felt. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's fiscal position has significantly improved. The primary balance on commitment basis posted a surplus of 11.1% of GDP at the end of June 2025, beating the ambitious 0.4% surplus target for the same period. Right, Honorable Speaker, the overall fiscal deficit on commitment basis was 0.7% of GDP, outperforming the target of 1.8% at the end of June 2025. Mr. Speaker, inflation has reduced significantly from 23.8% at the end of December 2024 to 13.7% at the end of June 2025. Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that this is the lowest since December 2021 and marks 6 months of continuous decline. Interest rates are declining with a drastic drop in Treasury bill rates. The 91-day Treasury bill rate has reduced from 27.73 in December 2024 to 14.73 in June 2025, a decline of over 1,300 basis points. Mr. Speaker, the 182-day T-bill rate has reduced from 28.43% in December 2024 to 15.34 in June 2025, a decline of another 1,300 basis points. Mr. Speaker, the 364-day T-bill rate has also reduced from 29.95 in December 2025 to 15.76 in June 2025, marking a decline of over 1,400 basis points. Gross international reserves has significantly improved, Mr. Speaker. The Bank of Ghana accumulated $11.12 billion, covering 4.8 months of import at the end of June 2025. And this compares to $8.98 billion, covering a 4 month of import as at end December 2024. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana cedi has demonstrated exceptional resilience and strength in recent months. At the end of June 2025, the Ghana cedi appreciated by 42.6% against the US dollar, 30.3% against the British pound, and 25.6% against the euro. This is a significant reversal compared to the same period in 2024 when the cedi depreciated by 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16.0% respectively. Mr. Speaker, so far, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciations in the year 2022, 2023, and 2024. Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to note that it is the first time that this level of appreciation has been recorded in the 60 years history of the Ghana cedi. Rating agencies, which once classified our sovereign creditworthiness as junk, are beginning to upgrade our ratings. Fitch Ratings upgraded Ghana's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to B- with a stable outlook from restricted default on the 17th of June 2025. The IMF program is back on track with the successful conclusion of the 4th review by the IMF Executive Board on the 7th of July 2025, which immediately triggered the disbursement of $367 million United States dollars. Right, Honorable Speaker, beyond the numbers, this is a story of sound leadership, better economic management, and a restoration of hope to a nation once in despair. Let me, on behalf of the President John Mahama, sincerely thank the people of Ghana for their trust, patience, and continued support. We do not take your sacrifice for granted. Mr. Speaker, this government did not come to simply manage the decline. We came to reverse it and reset our country. The gains of these first 6 months are just the beginning. Mr. Speaker, these early successes only encourages us to stay the focus, stay disciplined, and continue to do more for the people of Ghana. There is still a long road ahead, but our steps are now steadier. Our direction clearer, and the national spirit has been lifted with the gradual restoration of hope in our democracy. We have moved from promises to purpose, from ineptitude to action, and from distress to relief. Mr. Speaker, we have established policy credibility and restored credit worthiness. Right Honorable Speaker, the rest of my presentation will focus on 4 areas: macroeconomic performance for the first 6 months of 2025, the status of Ghana's debt restructuring, and the status of implementation of key government programs. Before I conclude, macroeconomic performance, Mr. Speaker, for January to June 2025. Mr. Speaker, the first half of 2025 has demonstrated our government commitment to economic recovery. Through prudent fiscal management, sound monetary policies, effective structural reforms, and strategic investment, we are laying a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. To put the assessment of the economy in the first half of 2025 in a proper perspective, it will be useful to restate the ambitious yet attainable macroeconomic target we set for ourselves for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, we set for ourselves an overall real GDP growth of at least 4%, non-oil real GDP growth of at least 4.8%, end-year inflation rate of at least 11.9%, primary balance on commitment basis at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP, and gross international reserves covering not less than 3 months of import cover. Right Honorable Speaker, I now take you to the real sector. Mr. Speaker, despite global economic uncertainties, Ghana's economy demonstrated robust growth. In the first half of 2025, the economy expanded by 5.3%, up from 4.9% in the same period of 2024, marking the highest first quarter growth since 2020. The agriculture sector led this growth with a remarkable 6.6% increase, about 3 times the growth in the first quarter of 2024. The agriculture sector growth contributed 26.4% of the overall first quarter growth. The fishing subsector grew the most at 16.4%. Mr. Speaker, the service sector constituting the largest share of the economy of 46.8% grew by 5.9% and contributed 47.9% to the overall first quarter growth, with information and communication technology leading the growth in the sector at 13.1%. Industry grew by 3.4% in the first quarter of 2025, contributing 20.6% to the overall first quarter growth. Manufacturing also posted an impressive growth of 6.6%. Right Honorable Speaker, non-oil GDP growth, the real sector, also picked up strongly, growing at 6.8% in the first quarter of 2025, compared to the growth rate of 4.3% in the same period in 2024. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, the non-oil GDP growth is the highest since 2018. It is expected that with the introduction of our 24-hour economy policy, the Big Push program, and the Agriculture for Economic Transformation program, the GDP growth will be sustained and possibly exceed the target of 4% for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to prices. Right Honorable Speaker, we pledge to pursue the following to reduce inflation. We pledge to implement aggressive fiscal consolidation drive aimed at reducing the fiscal deficit and borrowing. Mr. Speaker, we pledge to stabilize the exchange rate to reduce inflation on items that rely on the exchange rate for pricing, such as fuel, transportation, imported sugar, rice, and cooking oil. We pledge to implement policies that target items with large weight in the CPI basket, such as transportation and utilities, to reduce their prices. We also pledge to implement, through the Bank of Ghana, to implement an appropriate monetary policy stance and use its liquidity management interventions to support the disinflation process. And finally, Mr. Speaker, we pledge to implement agriculture for economic transformation agenda to reduce food inflation. Mr. Speaker, it is instructive to know that these intentional policies announced in the 2025 budget to tame inflation are yielding massive results. Inflation pressures have eased significantly. The drastic fall in inflation is not by chance or sheer luck, but as a result of hard work and deliberate government policies. Mr. Speaker, consumer price inflation has reduced from 23.8% in December 2024 to 13.7% in June 2025. This represents a massive 10.1 percentage point decline. Similarly, producer price inflation saw a sharp decline from 26.1% in December 2024 to 5.9% in June 2025, representing a steep decline of 20.2 percentage points in just 6 months. Mr. Speaker, food inflation declined from 27.8% in December 2024 to 16.3% in June 2025, representing an encouraging 11.5 percentage point reduction. Non-food inflation also declined from 20.3% in December 2024 to 11.4% in June 2025, representing 8.9 percentage point reduction. Inflation for locally produced goods and services declined from 26.4% in December 2024 to 14% in June 2025. Right, Honorable Speaker, inflation for imported items decreased from 18% in December 2024 to 12.5% in June 2025. These improvements are reflective of the effective fiscal consolidation, tight monetary policy, strong central bank reserves, and the appreciation of the Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, with this trend, we are focused and determined to achieve our end December 2025 inflation target of 11.9% ahead of schedule. Mr. Speaker, let me assure this House and the people of Ghana that things can only get better in the coming days. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to interest rate movement. Interest rates have declined, reflecting improved macro conditions. Mr. Speaker, the 91-day Treasury bill rate has reduced by 13 percentage points from 27.7% in December 2024 to 14.7% in June 2025. Similar trends were observed in the 182 days and the 364 days bills. The 182-day Treasury bill rate decreased by 13.1 percentage points from 28.43 in December 2024 to 15.34 in June 2025. 364 Treasury bill rate also declined by 14.19 percentage points from 29.95 in December 2025 to 15.76 in June 2025. The average lending rate decreased from 30.3% in December 2024 to 27% in June 2025. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Ghana reference rate fell from 29.31% in December 2024 to 24.0% in June 2025. So, Speaker, things can only get better. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have indeed saved 4.9 billion Ghana cedis on domestic interest payment as at end June 2025 due to our prudent debt management policy. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to fiscal performance. Mr. Speaker, our fiscal discipline has yielded the needed and remarkable results so far. We have delivered below target deficit on both cash and commitment basis. We have delivered a greater than anticipated primary surplus, the core fiscal anchor. We have delivered a strong expenditure and commitment control. We have delivered robust tax revenue performance. Mr. Speaker, provisional data shows that the primary balance on commitment basis, the fiscal anchor, as at end June 2025, recorded a surplus of 1.1% of GDP, surpassing the target surplus of 0.4% of GDP set for the same period. The overall fiscal deficit on commitment basis was a deficit of 0.7% of GDP, better than the deficit target of 1.8% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, on cash basis, the overall balance recorded a deficit of 1.1% of GDP. This is significantly better than the projected deficit target of 2.4% of GDP. The primary balance on cash basis turned surplus at 0.7% of GDP against a projected deficit of 0.2% of GDP. The non-oil tax revenue, net, exceeded target by about 787 million Ghana cedis. Corporate income tax exceeded target by 555.3 million, representing 2.9% above target. Mineral royalties exceeded its target by 143 million. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, import duties fell short of target by 1.6 billion. Expenditures were contained at 109.7 billion Ghana cedis, or 7.8% of GDP. This was 14.3% below the program amount of 128 billion, or 9.1% of GDP, reflecting strong expenditure control. Mr. Speaker, primary expenditure on non-interest expenditure on commitment basis amounted to 84.3 billion, or 6.0% of GDP. This is an improvement of about 13.3 billion over the target of 97.5 billion, which is 7% of our GDP. Mr. Speaker, interest payment amounted to 25.4 billion, which is 1.8% of GDP. This is below the target of 30.5 billion, which is 2.2% of GDP. And this was mainly due to lower domestic interest payment. Domestic interest payment amounted to 21.6 billion against a target of 26.5 billion, representing a reduction of 4.9 billion Ghana cedis, mainly on account of lower than planned domestic borrowing and the decline in the T-bill rates. Mr. Speaker, external interest payment amounted to 3.8 billion Ghana cedis against a target of 4 billion, due mainly to the appreciation of the Ghana cedis. Other expenditure, mainly comprising energy sector levies, transfers and energy sector payment shortfalls, amounted to 11.4 billion Ghana cedis, or 8% of GDP. This was 12.7% below the target of 13.1, or 0.9% of GDP for the same period. Right Honorable Speaker, arrest clearance amounted to 4.8 billion Ghana cedis. It is important to know that there was no build-up in arrests payable during the period under review, signaling strong commitment control and fiscal discipline. Mr. Speaker, we are very different from our friends that decided to flee from this chamber. Mr. Speaker, the deficit was largely financed from domestic sources, with net domestic financing of 13.1 billion, well below the 18.7 billion target. The net foreign financing was 2.8 billion, mostly from the utilization of the 4.5 billion IMF disbursement. So, Speaker, between 1st of January to 6th of January, the IMF disbursement of 4.5 billion was spent before the Mahama administration took office, just in 6 days. Mr. Speaker, project loan disbursement was 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, even though Ghana is relying on the domestic market for financing, we have borrowed less than we planned, signifying strong expenditure control and fiscal discipline. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a strong signal to the investor community and all stakeholders that the needed fiscal consolidation is happening here in Ghana, and it will be sustained. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana is back on the international scene. Mr. Speaker, exchange rate development. Right Honorable Speaker, government commitment to implement the following measures, committed to implement the following measures to stabilize the exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, we committed to establish the Ghana Gold Board to enhance the generation and accumulation of foreign exchange to support the stability of our currency. Mr. Speaker, we committed to pursue strong fiscal consolidation through the reduction in public sector spending and the fiscal deficit to reduce the pressures on the exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana also committed to implement appropriate FX forward auction to support the stability of the cedi. And Mr. Speaker, finally, we committed that the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program will boost local production and reduce reliance on export. Right Honorable Speaker, let me state emphatically that these deliberate policies announced in the 2025 budget to stabilize the Ghana cedi are yielding massive results. The results we are witnessing are not by chance. They are the fruits of hard work, discipline, and intentional policies. Mr. Speaker, the cedi performance in the first half of the year 2025 has been impressive. The Ghana cedi experienced significant appreciation against all major trading currencies in the first 6 months of 2025. I'm happy to inform the House that our previous record, where the Ghana cedi used to trade against the US dollar at 17, is as at yesterday trading at 10.4. Mr. Speaker, similarly, the Ghana cedi, which was once trading at 21 cedis to the British pound, was trading at 14.1 as at yesterday, 23rd July 2025. Mr. Speaker, as at end June 2025, the cedi appreciated by 42.6% against the US dollar, 30.3% against the British pound, and 25.6% against the euro. This is a significant improvement over the cedi depreciation of 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16.0% against the US dollar, British pound, and the euro. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, so far, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciation in 2022, 2023, and 2024. This level of appreciation has never happened in the history of our country. Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, fellow citizens, Ghana cedi no apeke. Cedi no apeke. Mr. Speaker, these gains are largely due to strong fiscal consolidation, tight monetary policy, improved external sector balance, renewed investor confidence, positive market sentiment, credit rating upgrades, and successfully securing staff-level agreement and subsequently the board-level approval of the fourth review of the IMF program. Right Honorable Speaker, the cedi rebound signals that Ghana's economic foundations are once again beginning to firm up. Sustaining this stability will require continued fiscal discipline, supportive monetary policy, strong liquidity sterilization, robust reserve accumulation, supported by activities of the Ghana Gold Board, and credible implementation of structural reforms. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to the external sector. Right Honorable Speaker, our external sector has shown remarkable improvement in the last 6 months. Gross international reserves reached $11.12 billion by June 2025, covering 4.8 months of imports, up from $8.98 billion in December 2024, equivalent to 4% 4 months of import cover. Mr. Speaker, in just 6 months, even before the IMF and World Bank disbursement, in fact, without external borrowing, we have added $2.14 billion to the country's gross international reserves. Right Honorable Speaker, trade surplus increased from $1.37 billion in June 2024 to $5.57 billion in June 2024, representing a whopping 306.6% increase just in 6 months. Mr. Speaker, this was driven by strong exports, particularly in gold, cocoa, and controlled imports. Mr. Speaker, the current account surplus improved significantly to a provisional $3.44 billion by June 2025 from $28.11 billion in June 2024. Provisional net capital and financial inflows reached $937.58 million in June 2025, indicating renewed investor confidence. Mr. Speaker, I take you to monetary and the financial sector development. Right Honorable Speaker, monetary indicators point to a sustained monetary expansion. Credit to the private sector increased by about 31.3% in June 2025. Reserve money growth moderated, and M2 growth remained consistent, supported by increased deposit mobilization and improved net foreign asset. Net domestic asset growth slowed, while net foreign asset surged, indicating a shift in liquidity drivers towards external inflows. Right Honorable Speaker, I take you to the recapitalization of the National Investment Bank. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that I updated this House during the 2025 budget presentation on the restructuring and recapitalization of the National Investment Bank, our NIB, as one of the critical reforms in the financial sector that should have been delivered in 2024. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, after spending a whopping $30.3 billion in the so-called financial sector cleanup exercise, the previous NPP administration left NIB in dire straits with a capital adequacy ratio of a negative 53.13% by end of June 2024. Mr. Speaker, we have successfully, Right Honorable Speaker, President Mahama and the NDC have successfully recapitalized the National Investment Bank by implementing an ambitious and credible plan to return NIB to profitability and sustainability. Mr. Speaker, we have taken the following steps. Right Honorable Speaker, we have injected a total cash of 450 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we also issued remarkable bonds with face value of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to the National Investment Bank. Mr. Speaker, we transferred 500 million Government of Ghana shares in the Nestle Ghana Limited to the National Investment Bank. Right Honorable Speaker, these transfers have significantly improved the capital adequacy ratio from negative 53.13% at the end of December 2024 to a positive 23% in May 2025. Mr. Speaker, by taking these major steps, we have preserved depositors' fund valued at 6.4 billion Ghana cedis. We have also saved over 900 direct jobs at the National Investment Banks. So, Speaker, we have preserved an indigenous Ghanaian bank. But, Mr. Speaker, let me state this. Unlike the previous administration, we chose to spend to save a bank than spend to collapse a bank. Right Honorable Speaker, we have also prepared a forward-looking, overarching restructuring plan for the National Investment Bank to put the bank on a sustainable path of profitability. The plan also aims to enhance board independence and objectivity, strengthen risk management, promote accountability and transparency, prevent insider dominance, and improve strategic decision-making. So, Speaker, this plan will, among others, strengthen corporate governance framework and systems, improve enterprise risk management and controls, establish a modern business model, revamp operational strategy, improve financial performance, institute and enhance supervisory measures, and eventually we will list the NIB on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Right Honorable Speaker, NIB now has a total paid-up capital of 3.4 billion Ghana cedis and a capital adequacy ratio of 23%. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the President, I want to use this opportunity to assure the people of Ghana and depositors that our indigenous bank, the National Investment Bank, is now prime for business. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, NIB is back. NIB is now liquid. NIB is now safe. NIB is fully capitalized. Mr. Speaker, we therefore encourage all and sundry to do business with the revitalized National Investment Bank, NIB. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to credit ratings. Credit ratings. Mr. Speaker, The progress we are making in our economic reforms and debt restructuring effort has been recognized internationally. On the 16th of June 2025, Fitch rating upgraded Ghana's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to B-, with a stable outlook from restricted default, the first time since 2021. Fitch cited significant exchange rate appreciation, declining debt levels, strong nominal GDP growth, increased reserve accumulation, and normalized relationship with external creditors as key drivers. Right Honorable Speaker, to sustain these gains, we will, among others, do the following. We'll maintain fiscal discipline through continued implementation of prudent policies to promote fiscal and debt sustainability. We will continue the aggressive revenue mobilization by strengthening tax collection systems and broadening the tax base to increase domestic revenue without overburdening the citizens. So, Speaker, we will accelerate structural reforms in public financial management, including transparency and accountability measures to improve efficiency and reduce corruption. The Speaker will strengthen monetary policy framework, and the Central Bank will lead this to complement the effort that we are doing. Mr. Speaker, we will diversify the economy through investment in sectors beyond traditional export to reduce the vulnerability to commodity price shocks and continue to maintain strong relationship with our international financial institutions and development partners to support ongoing reforms and assess technical assistance. Mr. Speaker, it's expected that other rating agencies, namely S&P and Moody's, will follow suit, given the remarkable progress we are making in ensuring economic stability and promoting inclusive growth. Right Honorable Speaker, this is just the beginning. We are determined to do better than B-. Ghana indeed deserves better than B-. Right Honorable Speaker, I now take you to fiscal policies and give you an update. The Speaker, I start with VAT reforms. The Speaker, in the 2025 budget statement, we reaffirmed our commitment to the people of Ghana and the business community to undertake comprehensive value-added tax reforms this year. These reforms are aimed at addressing the distortions and cascading effect inherent in the current VAT structure. To support this effort, we also committed to seeking technical assistance from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and engage the people of Ghana. So, Speaker, I'm pleased to report that we have successfully completed our engagement with the IMF. Currently, the Ghana Revenue Authority, together with the Ministry of Finance, is undertaking a nationwide consultation process to sensitize key players in the trade and business sector on the VAT reform and solicit feedback from them. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance hopes to complete this process by September 2025, prepare a new VAT bill by October 2025, and submit same to Parliament as part of the 2026 budget statement. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reassure the people of Ghana that at the minimum, the following will happen as part of the VAT Act. Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, COVID levy will be abolished. The effective VAT rate will be reduced. The punitive cascading effect of the GET Fund and NHIS levy will be removed. VAT flat rate will be removed. And a unified VAT rate will be implemented. The VAT registration threshold will be increased to exempt small and micro businesses, and compliance will be improved through public education, awareness creation, and the introduction of fiscal electronic devices will be deployed. So, Speaker, I now take you to expenditure measures as part of the fiscal. Right Honorable Speaker, as part of the fiscal consolidation strategy, we have taken measures to sanitize public sector payroll and rid it of ghost names. Subsequently, we engaged the Ghana Audit Service to undertake a nationwide payroll audit across all 16 regions of the country. The Speaker, the Audit Service has completed 91% of the payroll audit. So far, the Audit Service has not been able to identify or verify over 14,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, again, they have identified 53,311 separated staff on the payroll. Mr. Speaker, separated staffs are staff who are either on retirement, reassigned, terminated, or are on leave without pay or deceased and yet remain on government payroll. Mr. Speaker, the audit service expects to recover a minimum of 150.4 million of unearned salary from the separated staff over 2023 and 2024 period alone. Right Honorable Speaker, going forward, we will enforce the monthly payroll validation process and strictly apply sanctions to all who validate ghosts for payment of salaries. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service, that they will be personally liable for the loss of public fund. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. Let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service that they will be personally liable for the loss of public funds. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will continue to monitor this payroll and put in place measures to prevent ghosts on the payroll going forward. Mr. Speaker, I now give you an update on the arrears payable audit that we did. Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget, we announced the launch of an audit of arrears and payables as at end December 2024. The Ghana Audit Service partnered with EY and PwC to undertake this audit. Mr. Speaker, the audit service was tasked to audit and validate 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. So far, Mr. Speaker, 87% of the audit has been completed. Results show so far are as follows. Mr. Speaker, a total of 28.3 billion Ghana cedis has been validated for payment. Mr. Speaker, 27.3 billion is pending validation as we speak. Right Honorable Speaker, an amount of 3.6 billion Ghana cedis has been rejected because of errors, duplication, and non-compliance with PFM and procurement rules. Mr. Speaker, of this amount, 562.6 million is without adequate supporting document. Mr. Speaker, the outcome of this audit will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Mr. Speaker, the audit is expected to be completed by end of August 2025. Once finalized, we will update the House on the findings and outcomes. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to update on the IMF program. Update on the IMF program. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana remains on track on the implementation of the IMF program. A staff-level agreement was reached during the fourth review mission in April 2025, and we received executive board approval on the 7th of July 2025. This unlocked $367 million disbursement, bringing the total disbursement under this program to $2.3 billion. The fifth review, which is scheduled for September 2025, will be based on June 2025 data. Mr. Speaker, I'm comfortable that Ghana is on course to achieve most of the target for the fifth review. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to public debt development. Public debt development. Right Honorable Speaker, our commitment to fiscal discipline, through prudent debt management and exchange rate appreciation has resulted in a significant improvement in Ghana's debt profile. Public debt reduced from 726.7 billion as at end December 2024 to 613 billion as at end June 2025. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's public debt reduced by 113.7 billion Ghana cedis in 6 months. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in Ghana's history, there is a negative 15.6% rate of debt accumulation. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana's public debt to GDP ratio as at end June 2025 was 43.8% from the 61.8% of end December 2024. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's public debt as a percentage of GDP reduced by 18% of GDP in the last 6 months. Ghana's foreign debt as a percentage of total public debt declined from 57.4% as at end December 2024 to 49% by end June 2025. Mr. Speaker, this has significantly improved Ghana's debt sustainability. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to update on debt restructuring. Update on debt restructuring. Right Honourable Speaker, government remains committed to restructuring our bilateral and commercial debt under the G20 Common Framework. On the 24th of June 2025, the House approved an indicative terms of the Memorandum of Understanding between Ghana and Official Creditors Committee. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I wish to thank this House for swift action which has enabled Ghana to begin negotiation for the signing of bilateral agreement with each of the creditor countries. We are ready to sign the agreement with two countries as at tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, it is expected that 4 agreements will be signed by close of tomorrow. First, we'll sign with France, and the second will sign with another country yet to be confirmed. Mr. Speaker, on the commercial debt restructuring, we have signed non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, with some commercial lenders, in line with the government's strong commitment to honoring its debt obligation. We have made 2 debt service payments of about $700 million to our Eurobond holders. Mr. Speaker, on the domestic front, government continues to meet its commitment towards the domestic bond holders. For the first half of 2025, a total of 9.8 billion Ghana cedis was paid to coupons to DDEP bondholders, of which 3.6 billion Ghana cedis was capitalized. Right Honourable Speaker, for non-tendered bondholders, government paid a total of 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. This was the outstanding debt service as at 2024. Mr. Speaker, for the second half of 2025, an amount of 10.2 billion Ghana cedis is due as coupon payment on the DDEP bonds and 724.1 million as debt service for the non-tendered bondholders. It is important to note that government remains committed to honoring its debt service obligation, and therefore, we have made sufficient preparation towards the settlement of this debt, and bondholders should not worry, this amount will be paid in due course. Mr. Speaker, priority project under the restructured bilateral debt. Following Ghana's default on its external debt service obligation on the 19th December 2022, creditors halted disbursement of 55 bilateral projects. This resulted in several uncompleted projects dotted across the country, with a massive $3 billion in undisbursed loans. The IMF and Official Creditors Committee annual disbursement ceiling of $250 million for official creditors loan implies that it will take 12 good years to fully draw down on the undisbursed loans. Under the MOU with the Official Creditors Committee, the government of Ghana was required to submit a priority list to accommodate the $250 million annual disbursement ceiling. Right Honourable Speaker, during the presentation of the 2025 budget and economic policy of government, I informed this House that we will engage to resolve this challenge. Following the extensive engagement, government has submitted a priority list of 24 projects to the OCC and the IMF. This is expected to trigger resumption of disbursement for projects on the priority list upon the signing of bilateral agreement between Ghana and the creditor countries. We aim to ensure that all the priority projects are completed and commissioned by end 2028. Mr. Speaker, the priority projects are as follows. We are going to build a new bridge across the Volta River at Volivo. Mr. Speaker, the reconstruction of Tema Aflao Road project, phase 1. Tema motorway runabout through Ashiaman runabout to Atimpoku. The construction of 14 pedestrian bridges, Kumasi roads and drainage extension. Mr. Speaker, Power Grant interchange and the Sekendi Takrady Township Road, phase 1. Rehabilitation of Domi Kitasi Road Obichebi Lamte Interchange, Phase 2, Bolgatanga Boko Polmakrom Road, PTC Runabout Interchange Project at Takrade, construction of drinking water facilities in Wenchi, secondary Takrade water supply, modernization of Komfo Anoche Teaching Hospital, construction of central medical stores in Tema, Efia Nkwanta Regional Hospital in Takrade, Bolgatanga Regional Hospital, establishment of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development at Bonsu, establishment of 9 state-of-the-art technical and vocational education training center, and, Mr. Speaker, integrated e-learning laboratories in senior high schools. Mr. Speaker, that's not all. The expansion and development of existing senior high schools, renewable energy program, pilot photovoltaic system, Mr. Speaker, the renewable energy and energy efficiency program, and the construction of Takrade Market. Mr. Speaker, finally, the Kumasi Central Market Phase 2. Mr. Speaker, the main criterion for the selection of this project was closeness to completion. As a result, projects which were over 70% complete were given priority. The resumption of disbursement for the project and its associated debt service are fully in line with our commitment under the bilateral debt restructuring and IMF program. Right, Honorable Speaker, there's no room for an increase in scope for any of the projects on the priority list as agreed upon at the IMF and the OCC. Implementing agencies must take note and comply accordingly. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, there is no room for any increase in scope for work for any of the projects on the priority list agreed upon with the IMF and the Official Creditors Committee. Implementing agencies must take note and comply accordingly. Mr. Speaker, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 stalled projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Mr. Speaker, sadly, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Again, some contractors have submitted additional costs in excess of what Parliament approved. The Ministry of Finance has accordingly commissioned a forensic audit into this project. Mr. Speaker, we will apprise the House when this audit is completed. And Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, the Auditor General is the one doing this forensic audit in partnership with some of the Big Four. Update on sinking fund. Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget statement, government announced that it will commence the operationalization of Section 37 to 44 of the Public Financial Management Act, Act 921, as amended, to build sufficient buffers in the sinking fund for prompt redemption of specified loans obligations of government. Mr. Speaker, government has set up a CD sinking fund account and US dollar sinking fund account. Beginning August 2025, the Ministry of Finance will commence the building of cash buffers to support the repayment of Ghana's domestic debt service obligation relating to the domestic debt exchange program bonds, which will fall due in the year 2027, 2028, and even 2026. Mr. Speaker, the CD sinking fund will specifically target the redemption and debt service harms in 2026 of 20 billion US dollars, Ghana cedis, for the year 2026, 50.3 billion Ghana cedis for the year 2027, and 45.75 billion Ghana cedis for the year 2025. Similarly, the US dollar sinking fund account will also target Eurobond redemption, which will fall due from 2026 of 1.45 billion US dollars, 1.17 billion US dollars in 2027, and 1.14 billion US dollars in the year 2028. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of the sinking fund will provide a reliable buffers that ensures timely and predictable redemption of this designated public debt obligation. This structured approach to debt service will enhance investor confidence and contribute to long-term debt sustainability of our dear country. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to Government of Ghana's liability management operations. Mr. Speaker, government has begun an implementation of an effective and efficient liability management program to reduce embedded risk on debt portfolio. Our liability management operation will, 1, reduce debt service costs and mitigate refinancing or rollover risk, extend maturities to alleviate near-term financing pressures, Mr. Speaker, to optimize the debt portfolio by rebalancing the mix of short-term versus long-term instruments and strengthen market confidence. Under our liability management operations, Mr. Speaker, we will analyze the domestic bond market to assess suitability for bonds buybacks. We will carefully sequence issuance of benchmark securities and prioritize longer-dated tenor to establish a stable yield curve. Mr. Speaker, I take you to primary dealers and bond market specialist system as we inherited. Mr. Speaker, our debt management strategy is to use treasury bills for cash management purposes only. We intend to reopen the domestic bond market to finance the budget deficit. The reopening of the domestic bond market will aim at creating a more competitive primary market that can deliver the volume and pricing to enable the government lower its borrowing costs. Mr. Speaker, beginning August 2025, we will commence the selection of new book runners to assist government in the reopening of the domestic bond market. Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, beginning 2025 August, the government of Ghana will commence the selection of new book runners to assist government in the reopening of the domestic bond market. Mr. Speaker, the selection of book runners will focus on banks and investment dealers with the ability to achieve a wider market distribution and advice on pricing and structuring. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to revised macroeconomic framework. Mr. Speaker, macroeconomic target. Economic development in the first half of the year do not warrant a revision to the macroeconomic target and the appropriations bill. Mr. Speaker, I am not asking for additional money from the Appropriations Act. We maintain the following macroeconomic target for 2025. 1, overall GDP growth at least 4.0%. At least. Non-oil GDP growth of at least 4.8%. End-year inflation rate of 11.9%. Primary balance on commitment basis at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP. And gross international reserves covering not less than 3 months of import. Mr. Speaker, although we have made significant progress, we are cautiously optimistic. Right Honorable Speaker, despite maintaining our macroeconomic target for 2025, including the primary balance on commitment basis of a surplus of 1.5% of GDP, we are revising both revenue and expenditure projections to reflect the impact of the additional revenue from the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025, Act 1141. Revisions to revenue. Right Honorable Speaker, as a result, total revenue and grant has been revised upwards from the 2025 budget target of 227.1 billion to 229.9 billion, or from 16.2% of GDP to 16.4% of GDP. This represents a nominal increase of 1.3%. Mr. Speaker, the additional revenue of 2.9 billion Ghana cedis will come from the increase in revenues from the amendment to the Energy Sector Levies Act. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to revisions to expenditures. Mr. Speaker, total expenditure on commitment basis has been revised downwards from 269.5 billion from the original budget projection of 270.9 billion Ghana cedis. However, primary expenditures has been revised upwards to 209.6 billion from the original budget projection of 206.8 billion Ghana cedis. This upward adjustment reflects an increase in the allocation to support energy sector payment. Mr. Speaker, interest payments have been revised downwards by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis from the original budget projection of 64.1 billion to 59.9 billion cedis. Right Honorable Speaker, domestic interest has been revised downwards by 5.1 billion Ghana cedis, mainly on account of gains from the reduction in the Treasury bill rate as a result of the implementation of our prudent debt management policies. However, external interest payments have been revised upwards by 795 million to make additional provision for debt service due on post-cutoff date disbursement made by our bilateral creditors since 2023. Mr. Speaker, energy sector payments have also been revised upwards by 2.9 billion Ghana cedis to provision for fuel purchases for power generation. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to overall balance and financing. Right Honorable Speaker, notwithstanding the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the primary balance on commitment basis remains unchanged at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP. Based on the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the following fiscal balance on cash basis improves from a deficit of 4.1% of GDP to 3.8% of GDP. I mean the fiscal balance. The overall fiscal balance on commitment basis improves from a deficit of 3.1% to 2.8%, and the projected annual borrowing needs of government reduced by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis. Simple put, we will be borrowing less by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, risk to 2025 budget, risk to the 2025 fiscal framework. Mr. Speaker, despite the robust fiscal performance, there are some underlying risks which pose a threat to the 2025 fiscal framework. The risks are as follows: shortfalls in customs revenue, smuggling of marine gas oil, mounting wage pressures, and pricing and award of contract in foreign currency. Mr. Speaker, I'll take them one by one. Customs revenue. Right Honorable Speaker, customs revenue recorded a significant shortfall of 1.6 billion, even though the overall revenue is doing well, representing 12.7% reduction from the first half of 2025. This performance is attributed to systemic revenue leakage at key customs collection points, particularly the Tema Port and the smuggling of goods across our land borders. Mr. Speaker, these developments pose risk to the attainment of our revenue target for the year 2025. To mitigate these risks, government is implementing the following measures to address the existing operational challenges to safeguard revenue. 1, we will adopt the use of artificial intelligence, AI, to minimize human interference in revenue assessment, supporting the validation of the country of origin, as well as the accuracy of classification and valuation of imported goods. Mr. Speaker, we are rolling out advanced cargo information system to ensure that the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and the Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA, receives comprehensive shipment detail at least 24 hours prior to vessel departure from the port of origin. Mr. Speaker, this will enable pre-arrival risk assessment, reduce the need for documentation amendment, and facilitate more accurate and timely duty assessment. We will also be implementing a robust anti-smuggling surveillance program targeting both inland and maritime borders. And to those at Sankasi, we are coming after you. Mr. Speaker, reviewing the institutional setup of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, including staff mobility. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat this. We will be reviewing the institutional setup of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, including staff mobility, to facilitate the decentralization of customs operations. Mr. Speaker, operational risk assessment to enhance transparency and accountability of staff will be enhanced. Now I will take you to the smuggling of marine gas oil, MGO. Right Honorable Speaker, tax exemptions on marine gas oil was introduced to support non-artisanal fishing fleet operating from Ghana. Over the years, the tax exemptions have created incentive to abuse and smuggling of MGO onto the open market, resulting in revenue losses estimated at nearly $500 million Ghana cedis every year. The government will withdraw the tax exemption to curb smuggling and stem the erosion of tax revenue, thereby reducing the fiscal risk to the 2025 budget. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to wages and salary, which happens to be the third risk to the budget. Right Honorable Speaker, we have seen some significant pressures on the compensation budget for the first half of 2025, mainly emanating from wages and salaries. Wages and salaries exceeded the target by 1.3 billion Ghana cedis for the first 6 months of the year. Mr. Speaker, the wage pressures were largely driven by last-minute recruitment undertaken by the previous MPP administration in the last quarter of 2024, especially in the areas of education, health, and security sector. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. The wage pressures we are largely seeing are driven by the last-minute recruitment undertaken by the previous government in the last quarter of 2024, especially in areas of education, health, and the security sector. In addition, ad hoc reviews of conditions of service undertaken in previous years have distorted the single spine pay policy and further burdened the public wage. Mr. Speaker, the government is implementing the following measures to address this challenge. Number one, we'll conduct regular nationwide staff payroll audit to sanitize the payroll. Mr. Speaker, we'll be realigning all staff from overstaffed areas and defunct MDAs to areas with critical staffing needs. Right Honorable Speaker, we'll finalize the process for the establishment of the Independent Emolument Committee as part of the broader effort to reform and reset public sector pay. And finally, we will issue an executive directive mandating all MDAs to seek approval from the Minister of Finance or the Ministry of Finance before making any commitment with financial implications on the payroll. Mr. Speaker, pricing and award of contract in foreign currency. Pricing and award of contract in foreign currency. Mr. Speaker, pricing of goods and services and award of contract in foreign currency pose significant risk to fiscal management, with severe implications for the stability of our Ghana cedi. Unfortunately, foreign currencies are becoming the means of transacting business in Ghana. This trend, if not checked, will erode the confidence in our currency, drive inflation, and result in the loss of value in the symbol of our sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, to curb this unfortunate development, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has directed that beginning today, 24th of July 2025, no contract awarded by government, irrespective of source of fund, should be denominated in foreign currency. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker. To curb this unfortunate development, President John Dramani Mahama has directed that beginning today, 24th of July 2025, no contract awarded by government, irrespective of source of funding, should be denominated in foreign currency. Mr. Speaker, we also want to use this opportunity to remind the public that per the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, Act 723, companies, institutions, and individuals are prohibited from pricing, advertising, receipting, or making payment for goods and services in foreign currencies in Ghana without prior written approval from the Bank of Ghana. Right Honorable Speaker, I will take you to key policy initiatives. Mr. Speaker, I now present updates on key policy initiatives outlined in the 2025 budget. Right Honorable Speaker, since its establishment in April 2024, 2025, the Ghana Gold Board has initiated reforms to licensing regime that governs the local gold trading sector and introduced new aggregation system to effectively mop up gold from artisanal small-scale mining sector across the country. These measures have already yielded tangible economic benefits within the short period of operation of the Ghana Gold Board. In the first half of 2025 alone, gold export from the small-scale sector stood at 51.5 tons with an export value of approximately $5 billion. This figure far exceeds the 26.4 tons, which are with an export value of $1.8 billion from the small-scale mining sector over the same period in 2024. Mr. Speaker, simple put, gold export in tons from the small-scale mining sector for the first half of 2025 recorded about 100% increase over what was recorded in the year 2024. Similarly, the value of gold export from small-scale mining increased by about 180% for the first half of 2025 over that of the same period in 2024. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in Ghana's history, gold export from small-scale mining sector have exceeded gold export from large-scale sector. Mr. Speaker, the substantial foreign exchange inflows from the gold board operations in the artisanal small-scale mining sector have significantly strengthened our reserves, improved our balance of payment, and provided critical support for the Ghana city. Mr. Speaker, this tells a story of a country which has been denied the full benefit of its gold resources, a story of a country where illegal gold trade and smuggling have been allowed to fester to the detriment of the well-being of the people. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 8th of July 2025, His Excellency President John Mahama inaugurated a task force to tackle illegal gold trade and smuggling. I also want to use this opportunity as the Sector Minister to reiterate that the government of President Mahama would deal ruthlessly with anyone found engaging in illegal trade and smuggling, as these nation-wrecking activities sabotage the progress of our country. Mr. Speaker, I also want to reiterate the point that no one should come to us and beg because we will not spare you. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program deserves some update. Mr. Speaker, earlier this month, President Mahama officially launched the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program, Ghana's ambitious and integrated strategy to boost production, create sustainable jobs, and modernize our economy. The 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program represent a national reset aimed at reducing import dependence, expanding domestic production, improving market access, and building a competitive, skilled workforce for a dynamic economy. Right Honorable Speaker, the anchor of the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program is the Volta Economic Corridor, a transformational project to unlock the vast economic and environmental potential of the Volta Lake and its surrounding lands. Mr. Speaker, the Volta Economic Corridor revives and expands on Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's original vision of the Volta project as a hub for agro-industry, trade and transport, now reimagined to fit today's economic reality and regional opportunities. Mr. Speaker, the Volta Economic Corridor will be executed through the following pillars of the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program. Right Honorable Speaker, Grow 24 will irrigate 2 million hectares of farmlands for year-round farming instead of the traditional seasonal farming. Right Honorable Speaker, Make 24 will establish agro-industrial parks for textiles, pharmaceuticals, and food processing. The Speaker, Show 24 will develop tourism clusters and hospitality hubs along the Volta Lake. And Connect 24 will turn the lake into a major inland transport route, cutting haulage costs and linking northern, southern, eastern, and western Ghana. Mr. Speaker, to support this transformative program, the Ministry of Finance Well, in the 2026 budget, outlined targeted incentives for the Volta Economic Corridor. These measures will be carefully designed to attract private capital, drive enterprise growth, and create decent, well-paying jobs. The Speaker, for emphasis, the Ministry of Finance will, as part of the 2026 budget, outline a targeted incentive for the Volta Economic Corridor. Right, Honourable Speaker, the government will only facilitate and not dominate this ambitious growth goal. The Speaker, I now take you to the big push. Right, Honourable Speaker, as part of the 2025 budget, we announced the commencement of the Big Push program, a flagship initiative of President John Dramani Mahama for massive infrastructure development. Since then, the President has dedicated all Big Push budgetary allocation for the next 2 years, Mr. Speaker, and I mean all Big Push allocation for the next 2 years to improve road infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that Parliament approved that all oil revenue and mineral royalties accrued to the budget were dedicated to the Big Push. As a result, an amount of 13.8 billion Ghana cedis was allocated in the 2025 budget for the Big Push program to be used for road infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Roads and Highways has spent the last 6 months of his time in office touring the whole country to assess firsthand the state of our roads. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Roads and Highways has undertaken studies and prepared comprehensive engineering interventions and cost estimates for roads projects across the program, across the country for the Big Push program. Right, Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance has since issued commencement authorization for the following road infrastructure projects under the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, these are the following Big Push projects as approved by the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Speaker, number 1, the construction of a new bridge on the Oti River at Dambai. Number 2, rehabilitation of Wahan Road. 3, upgrading of Tumu Hamile Road. 4, upgrading of Tumu Han Laura Road. 5, reconstruction of Navrongo Tumu Road. 6, rehabilitation of Techiman Nkonsia Wenchi Road. 7, rehabilitation of Wenchi Sola Road. 8, Mr. Speaker, construction of Sunyane Outer Ring Road. Mr. Speaker, the construction of Kumasi Outer Ring Road, Eastern Quadrant. Mr. Speaker, the rehabilitation of Bintri Napanduri Road. Mr. Speaker, the rehabilitation of Dodo Pepeso and Kwanta Road. Rehabilitation of Achimpoku Esukuma Junction Road. Rehabilitation of Esukuma Junction to Enyinawase Road. Right, Honourable Speaker, Enyinawase to Ho Titrenu Road. Mr. Speaker, we'll be upgrading the Akosombo Jakiti Kudikope Road. Mr. Speaker, we'll be upgrading Esukuma to Enumboso to Parliament Road. Mr. Speaker, Adome Bridge to Akomufre Road. We'll be upgrading Ho to Petoi Road. Mr. Speaker, rehabilitation of Petoi to Afiadenyamepa Road. Mr. Speaker, we'll be rehabilitating Kwenyi to Aflao Road. We will be dualizing Winneba to Mankesim Road. We'll be dualizing Cape Coast to Takrade Road. We'll be rehabilitating Mankesim Ejumako to Aguna Swedro Road. Mr. Speaker, we'll be rehabilitating Tema to Aflao Road. Construction of Dodowa to Afenya Dowenya Road. Right, Honourable Speaker, we will be upgrading the Oyibi to Apollonia Afenya Road. Right, Honourable Speaker, we'll be constructing the Enchi to Elubo Road. We'll also be constructing the Dadieso to Akontombra Road. We will be upgrading the Adwe-Fua to Ose-Kojo-Krom Road, and we will be upgrading the Enchi to Kojoru-Penchi Road. And finally, Mr. Speaker, we will be upgrading the Bediako Junction, Camp 15 to Sefi, Adobo-Krom Road. Mr. Speaker, as part of the Big Push program, we have also selected the following abandoned road project for which no dedicated funding was allocated for by the previous administration to be included into the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, the projects are as follows: upgrading of Kasua to Winneba Road, rehabilitation of Ofanko to Insawam Road, dual carriage. Right Honorable Speaker, dualization of Takrady to Agona Junction Road. Mr. Speaker, the construction of Swami Interchange and local roads. Mr. Speaker, we'll also be constructing the National Route 18 from Wa to Han Road. And we'll be upgrading the Tumu to Chichiliga to Navrongo, including the construction of 36-meter span reinforced concrete over the Kenyibi River and 24-meter span reinforced concrete over the Bichirunu River. Right Honorable Speaker, we will be reconstructing the Navrongo to Sandama Road. Mr. Speaker, we will be rehabilitating the Tepa to Gosu Road, rehabilitating the Hohoi to Jasikan Road, and we will be rehabilitating Nkwanta to Oti Damanko Road. We will be reconstructing the Have to Hohoi Road, and we will dualize the Adenta Dodowa Road. And Mr. Speaker, to conclude, we will reconstruct the Jenejene to Sampa Road. Right Honorable Speaker, in line with Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act, and as part of this media fiscal review of the 2025 budget statement and economic policy, I am seeking approval for these multi-year commitments. Mr. Speaker, government has also initiated comprehensive feasibility studies for 4 projects which are currently at various stages of preparation, ensuring detailed assessment of their technical, economic, and environmental viability. Mr. Speaker, the projects are as follows. Project number 1, Accra-Kumasi Expressway on a completely new alignment. Mr. Speaker, Accra Outer Ring Road, Kumasi Outer Ring Road, and Adoso Echi Amanfo Bridge to connect the Afram Prince area. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to reorganization of the Ghana Road Fund. Right Honorable Speaker, this is not all. The government of President John Mahama has also taken a decision to remodel the Ghana Road Fund and refocus it towards road maintenance. As part of this media review, and on behalf of the government, the Minister for Roads and Highways will be laying before this House a new road maintenance trust fund bill. When approved, the Road Maintenance Trust Fund Bill will replace the Ghana Road Fund. Mr. Speaker, the Road Maintenance Trust Fund will, among others, provide for a new governance architecture, provide a formula for a fairer allocation of resources, and introduce more transparency in the utilization of road fund levy and others. Mr. Speaker, government has identified 166 constituencies in dire need of road infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the government has identified 166 constituencies in dire need of road infrastructure. In response, we have programmed to rehabilitate 10 kilometers of roads annually in each of these 166 constituencies across the country. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker. The President Mahama administration has identified 166 constituencies in dire need of road infrastructure. In response, we have programmed to rehabilitate 10 kilometers of roads annually in each of these constituencies. Mr. Speaker, this translates to about 5,000 kilometers of road to be constructed in these 166 constituencies in dire need of road infrastructure over the next 3 years. So, Speaker, simple put, over the next 3 years, we'll be building 5,000 kilometers of road in these 166 constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform this House that we have paid all nursing and teacher training allowances from January to June 2025. Right, Honorable Speaker, from the end of this month, July 2025, all nursing and teacher trainees will receive their allowances promptly at the end of every single month. Mr. Speaker, I'll now move to the conclusion. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members,
I conclude this media fiscal policy review.
We have other business. It's not only this one. Please.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I conclude this media fiscal review with renewed hope and optimism. The last 6 months have revealed our enduring spirit, what we can collectively achieve, and our potential to rise from the brink. Upon assumption of office in January this year, we were handed an economy in deep distress, a country with dispirited citizens. Trust and faith in our leaders were at all-time low. The fundamentals were not only weak, but broken. Mr. Speaker, and the misery and suffering were palpable. Mr. Speaker, in just 6 months, in fact, under 200 days, under the decisive leadership of President John Mahama, we have begun to change the story. Mr. Speaker, President Mahama's economic management model is working. The turnaround is in sight. Mr. Speaker, the signs of economic progress are visible and measurable. Mr. Speaker, first quarter economic growth is at 5-year high. Our debt to GDP ratio is at a 5-year low. Mr. Speaker, inflation has declined to a 4-year low. Right, Honorable Speaker, our credit rating has improved from junk to B- with stable outlook, a 2-notch upgrade and a 4-year high. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciations in the years 2022, 2023, and 2024, with no cedi depreciation in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the level of the appreciation of the Ghana cedi has never happened in the history of our nation. Prices of petrol and diesel at the pump have reduced significantly to the benefit of consumers. And the price of sugar, rice, and cooking oil at a 4-year low. Mr. Speaker, the price of 25 kg kilogram bag of Royal Aroma rice, which used to be sold at 650 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 356 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, the price of a lonka of sugar, which used to be sold for 50 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 44 Ghana cedis. Right, Honorable Speaker. Price of 25 litre of cooking oil, which used to be sold for 980 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 640 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, price of konkonte, 1 sack. Price of konkonte, 1 sack, which used to be sold for 1,200 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 950 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, a ton of iron rods, which used to be sold at 9,400 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold at 7,500 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, onions. 1 paint bucket, which used to be sold at 120 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 95 Ghana cedis. Right, Honorable Speaker. POP cement, which used to be sold for 115 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 90 Ghana cedis. The Speaker, maize, maize. 1 sack, which used to be sold for 1,600 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 1,450. And Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Agriculture has promised that it will go down even more. Mr. Speaker, the price of Yas sanitary pad, which was 25 Ghana cedis in January, is now going for 15 Ghana cedis. 15 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, palm fruit, 1 olonka, which used to be sold for 40 Ghana cedis, is now being sold for 25 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this is the reset President Mahama promised. This is the reset President Mahama promised. It has been 6 months of hard work. We have lessened the burden on households and businesses. Mr. Speaker, contrary to the perception that we are not spending, we are indeed spending, and spending at the right places. We are making the right investment in the lives of the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, an amount of $700 million US dollars of Eurobond obligations has been paid. An amount of 10 billion to domestic bondholders has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 2.9 billion Ghana cedis to the District Assembly's Common Fund has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 2.7 billion Ghana cedis to the Social Security and National Insurance Trust has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 9.1 billion Ghana cedis to the energy sector for stable power supply has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 5 billion Ghana cedis of arrears has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 4.6 billion to the Ghana Education Trust Fund has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 1 billion Ghana cedis to the free secondary education program has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 4.6 billion Ghana cedis to the National Health Insurance Scheme has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 1.4 billion for the National Health Insurance claims has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 252 million for vaccines and essential medicine has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 72.8 million Ghana cedis as capitation grant has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 895 million to the school feeding program has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 477 million to the LEAP beneficiaries has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 122.8 million for BECE registration has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 300 million to the no-fee stress policy has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 191.7 million Ghana cedis as teacher training allowances has been paid. Mr. Speaker, again, an amount of 462.6 million as nursing training allowances has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 25 million as assembly members allowance has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 21 million Ghana cedis for National Apprenticeship Program has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 34.5 million to the Jumawa program has been paid. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 2 billion Ghana cedis as goods and service to run effective and efficient government ministries, departments and agencies has been paid. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, an amount of 2 billion Ghana cedis to save the National Investment Bank has been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, non-interest expenditure of 84.2 billion Ghana cedis has been paid. So far, Mr. Speaker, from January to June, total cash of 114.5 billion has been paid from the consolidated fund. Mr. Speaker, we are spending and spending at the right places. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are spending at the right places. We are touching lives and we are changing our country. Mr. Speaker, this is not all. We have also worked to improve the fiscal situation. We have restored fiscal discipline. We have implemented appropriate policies to reduce interest rates significantly, thereby reducing the cost of borrowing. So, Speaker, we have saved on domestic interest payment following the implementation of our prudent debt management policies. Mr. Speaker, there is still more work to be done. President Mahama is determined to deliver. Inshallah, His Excellency John Mahama will deliver. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are not out of the woods yet. It will be premature to make that pronouncement. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, we are not out of the woods yet. It will be premature to make that pronouncement. But the good news is that today, hope is in sight. And we are determined to navigate the country out of the terrible storm we inherited from President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, we need the support of the people of Ghana to weather this storm. Mr. Speaker, to the farmer in Yendi and to the fisher folk in Sekendi and Shama, to the nurse in Sunyane and the teacher in Enumbuso and Ejumako, to the Ghanaian youth seeking decent work, to the elderly seeking better pension. We see you, we hear you, and we are working for you. John Mahama will work for you. The NDC will work for you. The gains we have made so far are the results of your sacrifice, your patience, our belief that change was not only necessary, but crucial. Mr. Speaker, this media review is not just a technical report. It is the story of the Ghanaian people. A story of a nation that refused to give up. A story that echoes Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it is done. Mr. Speaker, this is a story that echoes Nelson Mandela's quote, that it always seems impossible until it is done. Mr. Speaker, even as we look back at how far we have come, we are also looking ahead. This is the essence of John Mahama's leadership. He is focused and he will deliver. President Mahama is honoring his promise to the Ghanaian people. The second half of 2025 promises to be even better. We expect inflation to continue its downward trend and reach our 2025 target ahead of schedule. We will sustain the stability of the cedi through disciplined spending, targeted investment, and continued reserve accumulation. Growth will be further boosted by strategic initiatives, including the 24-hour economy program, the Big Push infrastructure program, and the revitalization of agriculture through the Agriculture for Economic Transformation program. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that during my vetting, when asked what I would like to be remembered as a minister, Mr. Speaker, I stated that I would like to be remembered for stabilizing the exchange rate, ensuring low prices, and creating jobs. Right Honorable Speaker, ahead of the presentation of the 2025 budget, my engagement with the traders at the Mokola market revealed that prices and exchange rate stability were the overriding concerns of the business community. Mr. Speaker, I wish to take this opportunity to thank our cherished traders at Mokola for their valuable insight. Mr. Speaker, the update on the cedi and the prices, as said earlier, clearly shows that we have taken deliberate and decisive action to ensure that the challenges with exchange rate and prices are tackled head-on. Mr. Speaker, let me assure all Ghanaians that the stability in the exchange rate and the lower prices we are experiencing will be sustained. Ghanaians, Mr. Speaker, the government has worked hard to bring down and stabilize the exchange rate with deliberate policies. It is now time for businesses to bring down prices to reflect the new economic reality. We understand businesses went through some sacrifices during the turbulent economic challenges, but so did the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, it is now time for prices to come down to reflect the new realities for the benefit of all Ghanaians and not only for the traders. Mr. Speaker, as we look forward, more jobs will be created, confidence will be deepened, and the Ghanaian economy will stand tall again, not just in the sub-region, but on the global stage. But to do this, Mr. Speaker, we must stay united as a people and eschew divisiveness. We must continue to have faith in our country, Ghana. Mr. Speaker, most importantly, we must have faith in our currency, the Ghana cedi. For 60 years through cycles of inflation, devaluation, redenomination, and recovery, the cedi has remained the symbol of our sovereignty. It has endured, it has evolved, and it remains the only legal tender of our republic. Let us protect it. Let us trade with our currency, the Ghana cedi. Let us talk about it with pride, not as a burden, but as a badge of economic independence. Mr. Speaker, I believe in the cedi, fellow countrymen and women. I believe in the cedi. You also have to believe in the cedi. Mr. Speaker, to all of us who have the privilege to serve in the leadership of our nation, let us unite and do this for ourselves, for our children, and for our children's children. It is our collective responsibility to reset our country. Ghana needs us more than ever. Our people needs us. Mr. Speaker, I cannot conclude this address without expressing deep gratitude to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, whose unwavering dedication and vision continue to anchor this national reset. Mr. Speaker, on a personal level, I thank His Excellency the President, because without him, this work couldn't have been achieved. Mr. Speaker, he is indeed the anchor towards our economic reset. Right Honorable Speaker, and to you, Father, Mr. Speaker, Alban, Sumana, Kingsford, Bagman, our father, and members of Parliament and the Parliamentary Service, I'm extremely grateful. Mr. Speaker, indeed, Aban Papaba. Mr. Speaker, Aban Papaba. No wonder my brother Kwame and his team had to flee the chamber. I salute the Speaker. I thank you.
Honorable members, Honorable members, in line with the practice and convention of the House, I refer the media fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the 2025 financial year to the Budget Committee to be assisted by the leadership of the Committee on Finance for deliberation and report to the House. When it comes to the House, we will hear from the chairman of the committee after it has gone through the report as to whether they second the motion that has been moved or not. If they do so, then it will be opened for debate. This is a motion, it's not a statement. And so members will have the opportunity to debate the media fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana. So I intend to permit the minister